Welcome to Rico Busters, the show that spotlights the criminal underpinnings of government corruption and exposes the so-called actors as the domestic terrorists that they really are. Today's episode focuses further into the corrupt organizations of Wayne County, Michigan, consisting of the Wayne County Prosecutor, the Wayne County Sheriff, and the Wayne County Register of Deeds, aka the Deed Fraud Task Force.
And I opened up the door and he says, "We're here to lock you up." Lock me up for what? Who sent you? The Deed Fraud Department. The Deed Fraud Department sent you to lock me up and I got an attorney? They didn't call him? Where's the warrant? We don't have to have a warrant. I said, man, you know what, y'all need to stop. What have I done for y'all to come in my house on a Friday morning or Saturday morning and act like I have robbed a bank? Are you following me? So,
no warrant.
no warrant,
How about uniforms?
no uniforms,
No identification.
no identification.
None.
So who are these wolves in sheep's clothing cruising the neighborhoods of Detroit? They call themselves the Deed Fraud Task Force, but there's something lurking beneath the surface of that name.
See, I didn't even know where I was, but I turned myself in under duress. I told them I don't know why they even called me, why am I being arrested, and who filed a complaint against me, and where is that complaint, and I need to see a warrant. So at 9 o'clock in the morning, we went up there, and I let the prosecutor and everyone know that, look, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what's going on. Let me see some paperwork. But they wanted me to believe that there was an arrest warrant. I said, well, if there's an arrest warrant, may I please see it? I need to see it.
The Deed Fraud Task Force purports to be working for the people to prosecute those trying to steal our home through deed fraud. That's just their cover for committing more sinister crimes themselves.
Said, look, we're not letting you leave this building. You under arrest since you turned yourself in. So they walked me over to the, what was that place? Wayne County?
Go to the jail.
To the jail. Under the tunnel. It's a tunnel that takes you over from that part of the building over to where you be locked up. So when they locked me up, I guess they, more or less, I had to go in here and be fingerprinted. They fingerprinted me like 30 times.
And can you tell me what all this was about? What were they charging you with?
As far as I know, they just showed me the papers that says false pretenses and obstruction of justice, and that's it. I said, well, what is that? What do that mean? What does that have to do with me? And they couldn't explain to me. They just said, hey, there's a warrant for your arrest, and we're just only following orders.
Well, isn't that what they were saying in Nazi Germany?
Yes.
The Deed Fraud Task Force, also known as the Mortgage and Deed Fraud Unit under the operation of the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, is run by the quintessential queen of conspiracy and corruption, Kim Worthy. She, like so many others operating in Wayne County without proper authority to do the things that they do, are plain and simply domestic terrorists. So how is that defined by the FBI and the United States Criminal Code? It means the unlawful coercion of a population, such as what we see in the mass thievery of homes from inner-city blacks, a genocide, if you will, an unconstitutional cleansing, whereby residents who once worked for the Michigan automobile industry and thriving manufacturers of the 50s and 60s are being torturously subjugated to imprisonment, persecution, and terror. They are being forced to move out, Gestapo style, by the corporate operatives of county power mongers like Kim Worthy, the former Wayne County executive Robert Ficano, and his replacement, the former Wayne County Sheriff Warren Evans. So to make room for failed big business ventures and corrupt gambling deals that spiral the county residents further into debt, while the operatives themselves make off like bandits with the assets of not only the county, but also the state.
I felt like it was a personal domestic terrorism. You have to go in there and get naked in front of somebody you don't know, turn around, bend over. I've never been in jail in my whole entire life. I'm 66 years old, and I find that appalling. Embarrassment, and I didn't want my family to know. I didn't want nobody to know. It's not that I was afraid. It was just the idea. How could that be done to people in America that, you never committed a crime in your life? I don't even have a jaywalking ticket. I don't have a parking ticket. I have an excellent driving record. I haven't had any accidents, no insurance job, none of that. But I get accused of something that I don't even know what it's all about. I've never been in that environment. This is the first time in my life. But I've known other people that's what we're, as an advocate, we've been fighting to stop this from happening. I never in my wildest dreams thought it was going to happen to me, because you need these kind of people like myself and my husband that do have clean records, are upholding citizens, that's ready to fight for others that made mistakes in their past and they're trying to correct it. Or they're in the same position as us. They didn't know. There's no crime when you don't know.
There's no intent?
No intent to commit a crime. We just wanted to know who stole my identity.
Before we dive further into this corrupt racketeering mess, I think it behooving to just take a closer look at the players in this chess game, using Mary Stafford as the sacrificial pawn under the pretense that some form of justice is taking place. First, let's look at the constitutional usurper calling himself the judge of the Stafford's criminal cases. His name is Michael Hathaway. He's part of the Hathaway dynasty, pulling the strings of Michigan government corruption for decades. His former sister-in-law is Diane Hathaway, the former Michigan Supreme Court justice who was forced to resign and pled guilty, was convicted, and sentenced to a federal penitentiary in 2012 for bank fraud. Never mind how many individuals this woman might have screwed over, this Rico Busters host being one who was denied due process by the corrupt Michigan Supreme Court on more than one occasion. As soon as she was found to be screwing a bank, the FBI swooped right in. This shows where the heads of the feds are at, and with whom they are siding, and it ain't the little guy like Mary. Michael Hathaway has another former relative, Amy Hathaway, who was the judge that dismissed my case in 2012 after I had proved a plethora of felony corruption taking place in the cover-up of crimes being committed by yet another judicial usurper operating unconstitutionally and in racketeering fashion in the Charter Township of Redford, a municipal corporation operating in commerce in association with the Charter County of Wayne. There are more Hathaways operating in the Wayne County Circuit Court too. Take a look at all of them. It almost looked like a cancer that's spreading across this court system. Here's Richard Hathaway, the former husband of convicted bank fraudster Diane Hathaway. Let's take a closer look at him, since he was recommended by Wayne County prosecutor Kim Worthy to be the Wayne County treasurer. Now this comes at the very time that Richard Hathaway, as the chief assistant prosecuting attorney that oversees the Register of Deeds office and whose deed fraud task force is responsible for framing Cliff and Mary Stafford on crimes they never committed. Now wouldn't you think there to be a little conflict of interest here? How practical of a matter would it be for Judge Michael Hathaway to have the truth come out in his court that the Deed Fraud Task Force investigator Mary Jones, a 24-year veteran of the corrupt police department of Detroit, was incompetent, or worse, that she constructed a false prosecution, and that the prosecutor's office and the Deed Fraud Task Force are actually a cover operation for a domestic terrorist operation? I say that family dynasties running the public court can lead to exactly this type of criminal corruption, such as that which put Diane Hathaway in prison for getting her hand caught publicly in the cookie jar.
So everybody in that were being let go or let out of the prison, they had documentation to verify why they're being released. I didn't get one piece of paper to show I was even in jail, and I didn't get one piece of paper to show when I was let out. I was put in, arraigned, and put in a cell. When they let me go, they just let me go with no documentation to say where I was in that last, from like 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. It was like a kidnapping.
Have you been a victim of domestic terrorism in Wayne County? Check us out. See what you can